And welcome into another episode of Sports Gambling with Moneyline Monaco. I'm your host, Alex Monaco. Break out the Harry Potter brooms, baby. Clean sweep on a LeBron Taco Tuesday. Nailed, hammered the Celtics over the Bucks, and they did the same to them in real life. Took the Grizzlies +2 as hard as it was. Put them in a cheeky little plus 210 parlay. Celtics to win, Grizzlies to win. And we have cashed 7 of our last 8 games against the spread in the NBA going back to the first round. All picks posted on Action Network. Do not forget to follow me there. I am 25, 11, and 1 in my last 7 days, up just shy of 16 units. Welcome in to another episode. Your host, Alex Monaco, here. Again, Sports Gambling with Moneyline Monaco, iTunes, Spotify. Much love to all listening. Please subscribe, rate, review goes a long way. Thank you so much for being back with us. And I'm going to do what we did that cashed and should have been a clean sweep on Monday's episode because I feel just as strongly about it. And this is the play that I'm dancing with. We took the Suns, we took the Heat in a lock of the day on Monday, both to win on the money line, and it was around -112. Well, you can do the same thing again today, and we are staring down the barrel of just a little more juice, but we're getting ultimately the same line against the spread. It's -8 and -6 for the Heat and the Suns as 2 teams that are favored at home. And I'm going to take the Suns and the Heat to win game 2 on the money line as we get into our lock of the day. Let's dive in. Let's talk about it. It pays around -133. I'm willing to swallow the juice. I'm willing to do what we have to do to get a W. I was on double results, and I'm talking about that in a second in the degenerate special section, which was both teams to win the half and win the game. Let's start out with the Phoenix Suns and talk about what this team did. Led by Ayton with 25, D-Book with 23, Paul with 19 and 5. Bridges gave you double digits. Crowder gave you double digits. And how about Cam Johnson off the bench with 17 on 3 of 6 threes? And Payne with a humble best night of his humble second playoff run here with the Suns with 9 points. And they smoked them. Now, you can say that this was an almost backdoor cover, but this was a 17-point lead before the humble 25-point fourth quarter on 28% shooting and 12.5% from 3. All right, so they still won 121-114. And what I'm encouraged about is that Luka had 45 on 15 and 30 shooting. 45. Kleber was 5 of 8 from 3. Which I highly doubt will happen again. Finney Smith gave you a normal 15. Brunson and Dinwiddie did not have good games, 13 and 8. You looked at Jalen Brunson's game and you said, oh, wow, he came back down to earth a little bit. But the Suns led in almost every statistical category in this game. All right, they out-assisted them 27-16, really outboarded them 51-36, more blocks, steals and turnovers were just about even. But this team shot better from the field, better from 3, and better from the charity stripe. I don't see how we don't get the same exact result in game 2. This Suns team 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 playoff games as favorites. They know how to cover as favorites. You look at the matchups, which is what these games come down to. This isn't even close to the length that they had to face against the Pelicans. Do you know how lengthy Ingram, Herb Jones, even Jackson Hayes is inside the paint? It is such a different story with Ayton on the block. All right, Powell and Kleber can't stop him. They can only hope to contain him. Luka, I don't particularly pin as a very good defender. They're really missing Timmy Hardaway right now for extra points from beyond the 3, and they're going to live and die with their 3-point shooting. And this is a team that plays excellent defense that gave up 121 with ease. And Devin Booker was only 7 for 20 from the field. So yes, the role players stepped up like we envisioned, but I don't see how this Dallas team can slow down this Suns team, because what Luka does so well, which let the whole pace of the game revolve around his style, Chris Paul does the same thing, except Chris Paul's been around the block a few more times. I feel insanely confident saying that the Suns are going to win game 2. I'm avoiding the spread because of that sick, almost Dinwiddie corner 3 that almost had the Mavs covering when they had no business covering. But they haven't beaten the Phoenix Suns, people, last thing I'll say, in 10 games. 10 games. Phoenix, even before Chris Paul, they've covered 16 of their last 20 against them. They're 0-10 in their last 10 against the Suns. I think this team is showing their chemistry, showing their trust in one another. They're so grateful to have Booker back and getting through that first round series. This series may be even easier on a lot of levels, matchup wise, than the first series. Not saying Dallas isn't capable of winning a couple, making it a 4-2, maybe goes to 7 series, but I don't see it happening. I see the Suns taking control, going up 2-0. More of the same from game 1. Give me Phoenix on the money line. Now let's talk about this Heat Sixers team matchup. James Harden just wasn't the guy. 5 of 13 shooting, 16 points is not going to get it done. Tobias Harris is your leading scorer with 27. You got problems. Maxey had 19 on 6 of 15. That's not going to be enough. And this Heat team it's a hashtag Heat culture for good reason. All right. Adebayo gave you a double dub. Jimmy had 15 and 9. That's a humble night. Tucker gave you 10. Vincent gave you 10. And then Hero gave you 25 off the bench. They only hit 9 threes as a team, and they still smoked them and covered the 7.5 with ease. And shooting only 43% from the field, that's below what the Miami Heat normally hit in terms of their pay grade. If Doc Rivers is going to start DeAndre Jordan, only played 17 minutes, and he was a minus 22 in point differential when he was on the court. If they're going to start DJ again, which Doc already said they are, oh my gosh, this is ugly. This is going to be ugly. And this Miami Heat team, and I'm going to talk about it as I segue into it, they are so much better coached in terms of their roles on this team, because they've been doing it all season. This is no knock to Doc Rivers when it comes to them still kind of figuring out their feet under them. This is a James Harden situation, experiment. They haven't even played 30 games together yet. So without Embiid, they're dealing with a new set of trials and trips. Meanwhile, this Heat team, I mean, Duncan Robinson wasn't even in the game in game 1. Lowry wasn't even in the game in game 1. And they handle them no problem because everybody knows their role. They know the personality and the heartbeat, the Heat beat of this team. So I'm taking the Heat tonight over the Sixers with conviction. I think this lock of the day is a hook, line, and book it. Let's segue into my parlay. I'm going Suns double result again. I'm going Heat double result. Heat minus 175, Suns minus 140. This parlay pays plus 169. We should have hit this with ease last game on Monday. All right, this Heat team scored 2 points in the final 4+ minutes, 4:40 of the second quarter. 2 points of the last 4:40, and they only lost a half by 1. It came down to a James make and a Jimmy should have been fouled, no call, for them to not be up. And then they went out and they did what they do, which is a Spoelstra, Belichick asked halftime adjustments and came back and smoked them. All right. They even had 2 points in a 4-minute stretch in the fourth, and they still won by double digits. 2 stretches of 4 minutes, 8 minutes in this game. They had 4 points and they won by over 10. And then you look at what this Suns team did. This Suns team was up by 10 after the first quarter. After the first quarter. And they're quite frankly coming out with the exact energy and the exact enthusiasm that you would want to. And that's 35 points scored, 25 points against. Outscored them by 3 points in the second quarter, more of the same, up 13 at half. Heat won the first quarter 30-22. And they were outscored in the second, but they won 3 of 4 quarters. We're dealing with a Heat team that is just under plus 5 points in halftime points for against differential. That's top 5 in this postseason. And it's the same exact situation for the Suns, top 5 in that same category. One of the better teams, both these two teams I mentioned to you in the first game are statistically ahead of them in points per game in the first quarter and halftime on the season and in the playoffs. Dallas plays better when they're down by a lot. Philly plays with their food all the time. We got well-coached and well-coached. And this Heat team is second in defense of points per game giving up. They're giving up just over 95 points per game. 95 points per game in the first several games and outings in this playoffs. Every game went under in the Hawks series, the total, because of the defense. Same thing by design in game 1 against Philly. They're going to rough up Harden. They're going to make the young and Maxey really work. Okay, they'll live with Tobias Harris giving him 27, and he's not a 27 every game guy. They're going to need help from everyone, and I don't think they're there yet. I think this locker room is demoralized that their heart and soul of this team, Joel Embiid, is out right now. I do think they can go back to Philly and make it a series. As far as tonight, I got the Heat culture winning the half, winning the game. And I got the Suns winning the half, winning the game. Plus 169 on your local FanDuel shop. And let's wrap up with a prop. Let's talk about Deandre Ayton. I'm on 2 props tonight, all right? I like him on a double-dub, a little bit of juice. And I like him over 29.5 points and boards at minus 115. And it's a 30 piece he could easily hit. All right. He now has scored 20 plus points in 6 consecutive Suns game 1 series, coming out the gate with 25. Put up 8 boards, which I know we're leaning for a double-double here. But how about this? He scored 13 plus boards in 4 of his last 5 appearances with the Dallas Mavericks. 13 plus in 4 of the last 5 rebounds. Again, Kleber, Powell, they don't have the size to move him around and get him off his game. 51 rebounds for the Suns in game 1. All right, this Mavericks team was a 24th ranked team in the regular season in rebound. 24th. Suns top 10. Suns top 10. How about this? In the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks are averaging 37 rebounds a game. Of the 16 teams, the Sweet 16 that danced in the playoffs, only the Nets were a worse rebounding team. 15th out of 16th and 14th in defensive rebound. Ayton's going to swallow them up tonight again. Don't get it twisted. 13 plus boards in 4 of his last 5 against Dallas. And what he's done points-wise in game 1 and in game 1's period in the last 5, I feel comfortable giving out over 29.5. I think that's very, very achievable. And that is just a humble minus 115 juice. So that's how we dance on a Wednesday. I will make picks against the spread. I'm going to sit on it throughout the day. All my picks are on Action Network. But what I feel best about is giving the Suns and the Heat on a money line parlay, and the Suns to win by half and the Heat to win by half and both win the game. And that pays just under 2-1 at plus 169. And D. Ayton eats again. This is Sports Gambling with Moneyline Monaco. Thank you for tuning in. Again, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review. I will be making all my plays on Action Network, the app. Also follow me on Twitter, Alex Monaco, and Instagram, Moneyline Monaco, also on that same username. On TikTok, shout to Brums on the ones and twos. And as always, don't forget to hug your mothers. We'll see you soon. Ta-ta real smooth.